Hey, what's going on? JD here, and this is the Daily JD. Thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, remember to like, comment, subscribe, share this video, let people know that you are here and you want them to join in the conversation. Hopefully you had an absolutely fantastic weekend. I know that I did. It has been extremely busy, but had a fantastic weekend, and hopefully you guys did as well. Just want to remind you guys that we are a Patreon supported stream, and I'd like to thank our Patreon supporters. Of course, we've got Mr. Matt Mort, we've got Reviewy McReviewface, and as well we've got Kalela Post-Traumatic Victory, all supporters over on Patreon. You can support us there as well. As well, I'd like to thank our YouTube sponsors, and that, of course, is Mr. Josh WRB, as well as Mum's Universe. Thanks for subscribing, guys. Appreciate that you guys are out there supporting the channel. So thank you so much. So like I said, a very busy weekend for myself. Hey, good to see you, Reviewy. Thanks for dropping in. Good to see you. How are things? I have not seen you for a while, my friend. Busy weekend. We did the photo walk. We did that on Saturday. Turned out really well. Some great new faces there. We walked around the downtown core for about 3 hours, helping people learn to use their cameras a little bit better, talking about photography, videography. If you check things out, Josh WRB has a nice video from the photo and video walk. I think everybody had a fantastic time. Craftsman's Cosplay was out there. I know he's got a video in the works as well, but he's going to do that once he gets back from Edmonton for the Edmonton Expo, because obviously he's a cosplayer by the name of his channel, and he's got a little bit of work to do, because that's what cosplay is putting a whole bunch of effort in there to make some fantastic costumes that make, to be honest, you know, comic expos and cons that much more fun. And it's just great to see, you know, fans do some very creative things as well. So, you know, it was a super good weekend. Hey, good to see you, Josh. Review says, Josh, every time I see your name, I hear WKRP and Cincinnati theme in my head. I think you're dating yourself, Reviewy. The fact that I know what you're talking about as well. You know, it was a really good show. Dr. Johnny Fever, Les Nessman, the whole entire crew. You know, it was a good, you know, sort of sitcom television back in the day. It was, you know, a lot of fun. I think it was because I love radio as well. So. Again, the photo walk, absolutely fantastic. Like I said, we walked around for about 3 hours, ended at the Palomino, had some great poutine. I will say this about the Palomino's poutine. The meat, the brisket that they throw on there is absolutely phenomenal. It tastes amazing. That brisket that they made in there, absolutely great. But like I said, you know, it was a great walk. We had a couple new guys there, Sean and Tim, who came out to learn their cameras, you know, and basically take some photographs. They have some amazing stuff. If you go on my Instagram, you can check out their Instagrams there. It's all linked there. That's where they primarily hang out, is the Instagram world. And it was just super cool. It was, you know, I can tell you, it was brutally cold that night, and it was, you know, super cold, but at the end of the day, like when we got moving, when we started taking photographs, it took us all the way into Chinatown. We sort of looped around and we did this giant big circle, and I think everybody had a lot of good, you know, a lot of fun. Got some good shots, did some portrait stuff utilizing the natural lights that were out there, got some cool stuff. And just generally a really cool vibe. And, you know, again, it's, you know, one of the things that sort of came back throughout the photo walk was that, you know, it's just like, hey, I just want to get out. I just want to do things. I just want to, you know, wanted something to do. I just didn't want to sit at home. And, you know, again, it's taking those opportunities that are out there. In a city like Calgary, there is a ton of stuff, whether it's through, you know, groups like Calgary Video Creators, or you can find other groups through things like meetup.com. You know, there are a whole bunch of events and things to find any given time. I know that, for example, Reviewy, I saw you. I know you haven't been making videos that much as of late, but I did see that you were on a beer and brewery run where you had a super awesome 6-pack costume on with a cape. I saw that via my friend Riley Forster's vlog. He was there participating in the run. I always think it's kind of crazy that people go drink beer and run because you feel all bloated and stuff. I don't think anybody was setting any spectacular times. But again, super cool. Just a super cool event happening in the city. And, you know, every time you do something different and every time that you sort of go out and you meet new people, you know, you have the opportunity to make some, you know, connections and friends with people with, you know, sort of mutual interests. And that is going to help you grow as an artist, grow as a photographer, grow as a videographer, and just have generally a fun time and kind of get that motivation going to do the things that you love to do. Because, I mean, you know, one of the guys that was out, Sean, he's like, well, you know, I don't like going out by myself. I just kind of get bored. But because other people were there and doing things and, you know, trying different things, you know, he was trying different things as well, and he got some phenomenal shots. So, I mean, it was super cool to see. Very happy that we did it. I'm very happy that people showed up because when you do something like that, that is always my biggest worry. It's like having that party. It's like, I'm going to throw this party. I'm going to invite all these people. And then if nobody shows up, I'm going to feel like the biggest loser on the planet and, you know, feel very, very bad about things. But again, you know, I mean, I knew Josh was coming, and we said beforehand, like, if nobody shows up, because we knew it was cold, it was rainy, we're just going to go do it. And essentially we did, but we had some great people with us, and it made it a super cool night. I mean, obviously, if we had weather like we do right now today, I think it would have been a little more successful. The unfortunate thing, it was a little bit overcast, so nobody got, you know, kind of that spectacular sunset that we were hoping for. But at the end of the day, you know, again, it was really, really cool to just kind of get out there and get things done. And the plan for the future is essentially that we'll have more of these events going forward, you know, and essentially try to do different theme things, you know, and get some different stuff and create some different opportunities. I have an idea in mind. Essentially, my friend who does, Joanna Lane, who does the ghost walks in Calgary, I'm thinking of talking to her and maybe setting up a photo walk where not only she does her ghost walk, you know, sort of talk, that we maybe get somebody in there with sort of, she always wears a costume when she does the walks, but get somebody who, you know, a model that's dressed up more like a specter or a ghost and take some cool kind of, you know, photographs at different haunted spots around, you know, sort of Inglewood and downtown in the city. And I think that would be a ton of fun. Just one of those crazy ideas that always pops into my head. So we'll see. We'll see when we get back and, you know, how it all sort of comes together. So there you go. Josh says, I had so much fun. I wish I could have hung out a little later. It's all good. I think we packed up shortly thereafter and made our separate ways. I mean, we did spend, you know, like a good 3+ hours walking about. So, I mean, it wasn't a short time, but it didn't seem like that long. It was funny because we started at 6 and we ended just after 9, and then we went for, like I said, beers at the Palomino, and it did not seem like that at all. It just seemed to fly super fast, which was all kind of cool. Let's try and hang before you have to leave. We'll try to do that. This week is going to be an interesting week for me. I have some event stuff to share as well. I do photograph Rise Against on Thursday, which the irony is, and this is probably the only reason that I like Facebook anytime, is that I shot Rise Against like a year ago today, and I shoot them 2 days from now. So it's like almost, you know, it's 367 days to be exact since the last time I photographed them. So it's kind of funny, almost to the day that I, you know, will be photographing them, I photographed them before. So super, super cool. That's the only reason I like Facebook, is for reminders like that. And if you watch my personal feed, I'm kind of just rehashing memories, and all I do is post photos now, so that's kind of it. I kind of stick off Facebook, so and most of the time I just have my Instagram post to my Facebook, and that's kind of it. So there you go. We will definitely try to hang though. Ruby says, got some stuff in the works coming soon, but thanks, beer run was a lot of fun. It looked like a blast. And I'll be interested to see what you have going on, because I know you're a super creative guy and you always have some great ideas. And I know, you know, taking a little bit of time away sometimes makes those creative ideas even that much better, you know, kind of thing. Try to get a spectral snapshot. Yeah. I mean, if we got the ghost walk thing, I mean, it would be awesome to capture some ghosts if they existed on film. But, you know, again, I'm very much a skeptic. I know Joanna, because we had done things like she invited myself and Lloyd and I did the paranormal convention last year. We were guest panelists, I guess. We were teamed up with a psychic, you know. And again, I am a complete skeptic. I mean, obviously, if something presents itself and it's believable, I mean, I'll have to take that in consideration. But, you know, generally speaking, I'm not a big believer in Bigfoot or ghosts or anything along those lines. And if you've all watched the podcast, you know where Lloyd stands on everything from Bigfoot to aliens to you name it, to, you know, secret societies and all sorts of good stuff. And I mean, some of that stuff is true, but some of it is, you know, completely fictitious. So you never, ever know. So again, you know, kind of just want to talk again a little bit about, you know, sort of community and events. I honestly feel that one of the best ways to be creative and get things done and, you know, sort of get your juices going is to hang out with like-minded people and go to events. So, I mean, now that means whether you attend events, so you could go to things like the photo walk that we just had. You could go to something like Beers and Cameras. You could definitely go to, you know, a beer run like Review we went to. You could do all sorts of things. There's a wide spectrum of events that are going on. I know some groups that basically get together and they'll hire a model and then they'll just all do a model shoot because the models are expensive, and they'll just kind of, you know, pool their resources and do that. I know guys that will sit down and they will bring portfolios and they will, you know, critique each other's photos and portfolios. So there is a ton of stuff going on. But the big part of it all is sort of that interaction with people and like-minded people, and, you know, just sort of, you know, having that communication, having somebody to talk to. You know, there are some people that operate very, very well in their own creative spaces. You know, I myself create my space as best I can to be as you know, sort of inspiring to me as possible. But it's always good to get out of that place as well, because, you know, every once in a while you get things like creative block, or you get writer's block, or you just, you know, kind of get to that point where you get stuck in a rut. So, I mean, a lot of times people can pull you out of that. And sometimes it's just as simple as seeing people work. Sometimes it's as simple for myself. I can honestly say it's just helping people get motivated and excited. You know, when we were doing the photo walk, you know, one of the guys there, Tim, was just helping him do some stuff, and he was getting super excited about it. He's like, oh, I get this now. And to me, that was awesome. Like, that makes me feel, you know, motivated to create, because he's so inspired, you know, by this, you know, thing that he has basically learned, and he's raring to go. And it's kind of, you know, that energy and that synergy of somebody wanting to go out and create. You kind of, you know, piggyback on their energy, and it helps to launch you in a direction as well. So there you go. Josh says, I love ghosts. Jerry says, I'm about to have the supernatural. My place has some weird stuff happening. Yeah, your drawer is always open, and you have a bunch of weird stuff happening in your garage. You know, who knows what's going on over there. But it, you know, it could just simply be, you know, the crackheads in your neighborhood running around at night and doing all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff, as we've seen on video before. Or maybe it's the aliens that you've caught every once in a while in your video cameras, Jerry. It could be any of that stuff. Josh says, I love that as well, man. Teaching is a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I have had anybody that I've taught. Generally speaking, I never really taught photography before. I've definitely taught tattooing. I've had apprentices. I've taught them how to tattoo, go through all that kind of stuff. and basically work somebody in from never tattooing a day in their life to being a full-fledged tattoo artist. I enjoy that part. I enjoy giving back to things that I love at the end of the day. I enjoy sharing whatever I have, and that's kind of where the position that I come from. I mean, I know a lot of people out there, whether in the fields that I've been, whether they're pinstripers or airbrushers or tattooists or photographers, a lot of people like to keep things really, really close to their chest. They don't like to give stuff away because they're so scared that somebody else is going to take that information and be 100 times better than you. To me, it's like, I'll share it with you, and if you're going to be 100 times better than me, all the power to you. But again, I'm a little competitive as well, so I kind of like that too. It's like, well, if you're going to push the envelope, I'm going to learn from somebody that I've taught as well. One of the tattoo artists that I taught, she tattoos in this city still. She was just a phenomenal artist. She was Janelle is a far superior artist than I ever was. She might argue that point. She might say the opposite, but I always felt that she had such a cool style and did stuff completely different artistic wise than I did, that it pushed me to do a lot of different things and push myself in a lot of avenues that I never pushed myself before. So I mean, it's always good to have different creative forces sort of pulling you in all sort of different directions, so you get the best and maximum output out of yourself. Again, when you create for a long, long time, it is very, very easy to just sort of mail it in. A good example again is tattooing. You will see a lot of artists that just sort of do the same thing over and over and over and over again. They tend to confine themselves to a little box of what they do and what they do really, really well, but they're scared to go beyond that because there's things that they don't do well and they never work towards getting that thing. And I'm not saying that that's a bad way to have a career in tattooing. I'm just saying that at a certain point you don't grow any further. And I mean, when you're doing the same thing repeatedly day in, day out, you have to, sort of recreate what you're doing. If you're not loving what you're doing, it really becomes a job at that point. People say, do what you love. You never work a day in your life. There are points when you are creative that sometimes you get stuck in that rut and it does feel like a job, because you are kind of repetitively doing the same thing over and over. And that's when you got to kind of mix things up and get things, sort of going and, get your creative juices going. So this week, there are some things coming up. I know that in the past two events, Calgary Video Creators event and as well as the event there, people were looking for other things to do. There are some stuff that is coming up this week. So if you are looking for things to do, there are the Calgary Music Awards, the 2018 YYC Music Awards. It's something that's close and dear to me. I sponsor the event every year. I'm a sponsor again this year, obviously. So I've sponsored that. I will be there as well, taking photographs on the red carpet. It takes place on Sunday. It's down at the Palace Theater. You can get tickets. I believe there are some tickets available to the public that are still available. So if you're interested in checking out some of the best live musicians or musicians in the city, obviously it's a music awards. There will be some performances throughout, as there is every year from a lot of the nominees. So it's a good opportunity to kind of sit down and hang out with people that are very musically inclined. So if you're into music, that is coming on Sunday. You can check that out. As well as, one of the things that people always talk about is food, and love doing collaborations around food, is that it is YYC Pizza Week. So YYC Pizza Week is starting this Friday. YY Pizza Week is much like a lot of these other things like YYC Burger Battle or YYC Poutine Week. They have a bunch of different places throughout the city that are putting together specialty pizzas for people to go around and try. A portion of the proceeds from the sale of these specialty pizzas will go towards Meals on Wheels. So it supports a good cause, and you can get out there. You can basically have some food, have a good time, probably make a video because, you know, like I said, people will be tweeting about all the different pizzas throughout the city that they're trying and going to eat. You know, I know in the past that I've made videos for Poutine Week and Burger Battle, and it's a good time just to kind of go out, hang out, grab a beer, grab some pizza, have a good time, try something a little bit different than you haven't tried before. And again, you know, some of the money goes towards Meals on Wheels, which I think is a good cause for people. So there you go. Nick says pumpkin spice pizza at the Windsor Pizza Co. So there you go. And I think that was one of the pizza places that you recommended a week ago. So I think it'll be pretty cool. Essentially that, you know, something like that's going on. Again, you know, Calgary video creators at the meetup, there were people that were super, like they were pumped to do collabs and go out and do things like poutine, you know, but definitely Pizza Week and associated with Pizza Week, you know, it's a good time to do it. I know typically when you do those kind of videos, you get a little bit of traffic from them, but believe it or not, you actually get more traffic the next year. So if you produce that video this year, Pizza Week, you'll get some traction during Pizza Week, but the run into Pizza Week next year, you'll probably actually get more views on that video during that time. I've always found that with things like Taste of Calgary, as well as, you know, a lot of other, you know, things like Burger Battle that I've done before. It's kind of funny because as they come about, people are interested what they're about and they want to see it and they search it, and lo and behold, your stuff comes up. So there you go. So I'm going to just back to the comments because I've just started rambling on these last, I think, few weeks where I just kind of just keep on going and I kind of skip through the comments. So there you go. Teaching is fun. Josh says finding something you can be super comfortable with and have a routine. Nick says, sorry late to the party, got a bunch going on, so pretty much just running you in the background. No worries there, Nick. I had it and killed my creativity. Got to be on my toes and stay creative as possible. I agree. The more you've got going on, you know, and the more change and different things you can bounce. We've talked about this before. Is I will switch between stuff that I am doing, whether it's, you know, artwork or painting or photography, or in the case what I'm doing shortly, film, you know, it all just sort of keeps me going. And I like that kind of keeping on going, changing, different pace, just keeps things fresh in my mind. Nick says, I had it last year, surprisingly delicious. That would be the pumpkin spice pizza. I can imagine. I like pumpkin. I'm not a big guy for you know, sort of, you know, pumpkin pie or anything like that, but I do like pumpkin, so we'll go. Hey, Divot King. Hey, y'all. Your YYC walk pics looked absolutely amazing. Thank you very much. Again, you know, just sort of a small turnout. There was 5 of us, but I mean, it was a great time and we all had a ton of fun. If you haven't checked out, like I said, Josh's video, check that out. Super cool. And, you know, Craftsmith said his video would be out next week, and everybody else's stuff is on Instagram. So by all means, check out my post on Instagram. You can subsequently find everybody's Instagram that was on the walk there and check out what they did. So that's super cool. Nick says, I want to do a whole series of workout videos, but I don't want to be a creeper filming in the gym. Yeah, I imagine that is tough, you know, sort of, you know, filming at the gym. You know, it's one of those things. I imagine that you will have to sort of establish sort of a comfort zone. I imagine as well, you know, there's some dynamics in the gym as well. I don't know how long you've been going to that gym for, Nick, but, you know, I mean, it can be done. It can definitely be done. I would probably suggest if you are going to do it, you know, sort of discreet, sort of GoPro or cell phone is probably the way to go. You know, something like a GoPro with a quick magnet back would probably work really well because there is a ton of metal in the gym. You can just prop it up somewhere and it's not going to be intrusive. You know, people will definitely, notice if you set up a tripod and do those things. But I mean, you know, you had your video this week, starting with your, you know, weight loss and getting back into weight training. And a lot of people will find great value in those, because I mean, that's a common journey for a lot of people. And you know, everybody kind of wants to work together, and a lot of people like to join in on those things along the way. I know that I'm trying to remember her tag, but she does a lot of weight loss stuff, and she tries to do that as well, and you know, brings people along with her journey. Hey, good to see you, Mums Universe. Yeah, I hope you're having a great start to the week as well, Woodrow. Like I said, I know that we all had a good weekend here. There's a lot of stuff coming up that people can get involved in the community here. Like I said, there's the opportunity for collaborations for things like YYC Pizza Week. I know that there was a Calgary Video Creators coffee meetup at some point this week as well, but I haven't seen anything about time or location yet. So I'll just you know, sort of put it out there that they're looking at having something, but there's been sort of no update to what they're doing. So I've got nothing to kind of share in those departments. So if you are still here, please smash that like button. It has come to that part of the stream where I will ask you if you have any questions. Do throw them in the comments. And as well, I'm going to hit that good old play ad button. So if you see an ad now, it means that essentially this play ad button actually kind of works. If you don't see an ad, what it means is this play ad button still doesn't work, and I still have no idea what it actually does. Because I don't think anytime anybody has ever said that they've seen a video. So if you see a video, let me know in the comments. If you don't see a video, let me know in the comments. And again, I'm just kind of really kind of curious to what play ad essentially does, if it does anything at all, or if it's just a button that you know, you can sort of push there. Things that I hope that are coming out YouTube wise, I know they continue to work on the beta studio. One of the things that I hope is that they do move the live streaming over there. I've been spending a lot of time in, you know, sort of the analytics. They haven't added any modules as of late. I'm still waiting for Premiere, and you know, so we can basically premiere Lloyd and JD. And just on that note as well, there is no Lloyd and JD this week because it was Lloyd's daughter's birthday. So of course, that, you know, family first kind of thing. So happy birthday, London. I know you're not watching this at all, and I know Lloyd's probably not watching it, but I'm going to put it out there anyways. So hope you guys had a fantastic birthday. Nick says, I've only been to this gym for a week. Yeah, you know, it might be a little tough as well. I don't know what people sign necessarily in terms of waivers and disclosures and all that kind of stuff for the gym these days as well. But I can tell you, I mean, I watch on Instagram. I see a lot of fitness people in gyms recording all sorts of stuff, you know, and I don't think there's really an issue around it. It's just, you know, it's one of those things that, like I said, as long as you're probably not intrusive, it's probably not a big deal. And even then, like, I mean, if you were to bring in a camera crew, I mean, as long as the gym knew, I don't think anybody would probably really care too much, or they're going to go work out so they're just not on film. Or you never know, they're going to plop themselves down and, you know, make some big grunts and do some big bicep curls and try to get in there and get noticed and who knows what. So there you go. So other than that, like I said, I don't have a ton for you. Again, you know, YYC Music Awards on Sunday. Pizza Week starts on Friday with a wide variety. So YYC Pizza Week, as well as if you happen to be at Rise Against on Thursday, by all means, drop by and say hi. I will be there, you know, photographing those guys. It will be super fun. Josh, or Divot King, says the YMCA won't let you film at all. And there you go. I mean, it obviously there's different policies for different gyms. So, I mean, it's good to take note of. I mean, it's interesting because a lot of places do say in their policies that they don't allow filming, but I don't think anybody ever calls anybody on it. It's just kind of that day and age. And I mean, you know, to be honest, I think most people aren't really bothered by things like cell phones or people taking selfies or talking to themselves anymore. It's becoming a lot more acceptable. It's, you know, a lot of people don't even bat an eye. I mean, I know I vlog on the street and people don't even take a second look anymore. It's just kind of like, it's one of those idiot vloggers, and they kind of go on with their day. So, you know, it's very interesting as well. Mom's Universe says, seen people recording at the gyms I've worked out at so far. Overall, I think they are very cool with it, as long as you're not in a way lurking. Yeah. So, I mean, obviously if you are, you know, filming somebody because they have tight yoga pants on the treadmill, probably not going to go over very well. You know, might get you kicked out of the gym, or, you know, more than you bargained for. But like I said, I mean, if it's fairly obvious that you're filming yourself, I don't feel that that should be an issue. I mean, I've definitely seen some videos. I think everybody's seen them, where people do some crazy workouts with some of these equipments, what they're not meant to do, which are always entertaining, and obviously they're creeping and doing that. But you know, ultimately at the end of the day, you know, if you want to do that, Nick, go ahead and do that. And we've got nothing, no ads at all. We've got no ads from Divot King, no ads from Mom. So yeah, it's there you go. I think most videos I've seen of people starting out with videos in the gym is they tend to go really late at night when there isn't many people there. And that's an option as well. I mean, obviously going at off-peak hours, and that's a really good suggestion from Josh, is that doing things in off-peak hours definitely helps, you know, with doing things like filming. And I mean, to be honest, in a lot of cases, if you're going out to public to film as well, sort of off-peak stuff helps as well. Just because, you know, unless you're looking to film massive crowds, or, you know, it stops your equipment from getting kicked over, gives you a lot more time to talk. You're not having to yell over giant crowds, you know. And again, you know, it's kind of one of those things. I know that when we did the photo walk on Saturday, part of it, we do it after 6. I mean, there's obviously still people downtown, but I mean, it's a lot quieter because, you know, sometimes you want those shots without the people, you know, especially things like the Bow Building, which if you go during the day is actually very, very busy because people go there and take selfies with that Wonderland statue all the time. So it's sometimes hard to get a shot because there's just sort of that ongoing onslaught of people going to take selfies with, you know, sort of the sculpture, and that happens. Same thing, you know, with the Peace Bridge. If we had got there, that, you know, there's a lot of traffic on that bridge, especially commuter traffic, bike traffic. So, you know, ultimately at the end of the day, if you want a nice clean shot of the bridge, sometimes it's very difficult to do given the time of day, or, you know, what part of the day you go in. You know, during the day, setting up a tripod in the middle of the bike lanes, because that's what's in the middle of the bridge, generally does not go over very, very well. You know, they're never too appreciative of that. So definitely picking their times is all that kind of good. No ad for Josh either. So I guess ultimately at the end of the day, I don't know what this play ad buttons, but I will continue to experiment with it. And that's pretty much all I have for you today. Other than, I've got, you know, a ton of stuff to do. I've got a new bag that I picked up today. I will see if it works. Essentially got a new charger today. I've got a power converter, all very, very exciting stuff. I'm actually excited about the bag. I was going to show you guys, but it's way over there and I'd have to go off camera to show you, but we will, you know, we'll do that at a different time. If I decide to keep it, I'm actually going to load it up and see if it will hold what I need it to hold. And if not, it is going back tomorrow. So thanks again for tuning in, guys. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share all that kind of good stuff. I will catch you guys later. This is the Daily JD, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Let people know that you're here. Thanks again, guys, as always. And until next time, see ya.